Welcome to the Deaf Kid Show. Let's go.
Hey! All right. Welcome to the GK Show. Fun music at the beginning. Yeah! Hope you're having a good day. Let's start the pod.
Baby, I'm back. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Only a fool could see. Is that how's it go? I don't know. Anyways, been super busy. Not able to get any podcasts out so far this week. Kind of frustrating. And then I leave town late tomorrow, and I'm gone for 10 days. No access really to the internet. No real access to the internet. I got some social media access, but that's not real access. Speaking of social media, I'm at Jeff Keith, GEOFFKEITH on Instagram and the Twitter if you want to follow. And please take 5 seconds and rate this podcast 5 stars. It's really easy. Write a review. That also helps. Subscribe. Thank you so much. My wife had a great idea. I was all bummed. I'm like, look, I've been trying to get as many of these out as I can, but it's so hard because I'm, constantly watching one of the kids or both the kids and everything when I'm in town. And when I'm out of town, I don't have access to all this stuff. My dog is trying to get on my lap right now while I'm trying to record this. So she said, why don't you just bring your recording equipment with you and just record a bunch, and then when you're back in town, you could, or when you get internet access, you can release them. Bing! Light bulb. That's why I married you, Christy. You're smarter than me. I do pack pretty tight, though. I pack pretty light, and I pack pretty tight. I bring a carry-on, even though I'm leaving for 10 days. I know I'm not wearing the same underwear without washing them or anything, guys. Don't worry about that. I do have access to laundry. It's just I'm a light packer, but I have to bring this big mic, and I'll figure it out. I think I'm going to figure it out. I think this is a good idea, and I'm going to go for it. Shuggy, you stay on your chair, buddy. You stay on your chair. Do not ruin this for me, okay? My book, which I'm all excited about, my children's book that I wrote and I'm having illustrated, is taking forever. This was supposed to be done, finished, finito, whatever, beginning of June, and that it is what now? We're heading towards the end of August, and it's still not done. These guys that I have working on it, I'm happy with how it's turning out, but these dudes are just not paying attention to things that I tell them to do. I'm like, oh, this is wrong grammar, you didn't put punctuation right. What are you doing? This is on the wrong page, blah, blah, all this stuff. And they're always really nice, oh, cool, let us handle that for you, no problem. It's why you would just do this shit right the first time? You know what I mean? What's going on here? So hopefully, by September, I will have that book available, and the website will be up, thedifferentbook.com. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really hoping that does well. I'm going to do everything I can to promote it and get the word out. Let's see. Oh, before I get into anything else, I just now watched my old buddy Ryan Niemiller on America's Got Talent. He's been on there. He's now, this is the live show, I guess, tonight that he did. And I got 2 buddies on the show this season. I feel like every season now it's there's always a comic I know or something. But my friend Jackie Fabulous is also on the show. I don't think she does her live shows until next week. But Ryan's was tonight. If you guys are watching America's Got Talent, vote for Jackie, vote for Ryan. Both friends of mine for over 15 years. Ryan was born his arms are deformed or whatever. I guess you could. I don't know how to say it. And I'm gonna be honest, guys. When I first saw his first, I knew he was gonna be on there because he was posting about it and everything. It was obvious that he's gonna be on there, and I knew that he would do well. And Ryan's a really funny comic. He's always been a really funny comic. He's a great dude, and for that show, they always want some sort of story behind it. So he's perfect for that show because he's born with, his arms like this. But he's a hilarious comic, and I'm so happy for him. When I first saw I didn't get to watch it live or anything. When I saw his set, the first one, and how well he did, and how like he's just like shining and getting like all this attention, which is so, long overdue for a lot of comics. But I mean, for him, dude, it's just like, and he's not like any pity case as far as like stand up. This dude is a hilarious comic for no matter what he looks like. But, you just know that this guy was not given opportunities. He used to live in LA. That's obviously where I met him and everything. And then he moved back to Indiana, and you just know this guy. I mean, a lot of people get overlooked and a lot of people don't get opportunities, but I mean, this is just such a great opportunity for him. I don't know if I'm articulating it right, but the first time I watched his set on the when he first did it, I was in my car, watched it on my phone. I started crying. I'm so happy for him. I'm really happy for Jackie too. I feel bad because I've been friends with Jackie forever, and I'm rooting for her too. But it's like I am so happy for Ryan, and I hope that like this just sets him up. I hope he gets as many fans as possible. I hope that he just keeps killing it on the show. Same with Jackie too. But Jackie's so funny. I saw Jackie last week, and she's like, oh yeah, like she's like, I already won, like I'm on the show and everything and she's right. You know what I mean? She's getting all this exposure and it's awesome for her. And I know Jackie's manager and she's a really cool lady. So anyways, I'm so happy for both of them. Go vote if you like that show, America's Got Talent. Go vote. Yeah. All right. So let's see. I finally sold my car. I had my car for sale for a long time. It's so hard to sell because I'm always out of town, and I finally sold it. And I was always told like get a cashier's check and all that, but I in my head I was like, I'm gonna meet at the bank. You know what I mean? We're gonna meet at the bank, get the cashier's check. We go in. The bank's like, yeah, this is cool. And then Shuggy, dude, do your thing. I'll do my thing. So just gonna meet at the bank and all that. This went down at night, right? Everything not really the way I wanted. And so it went down at night and on a Friday night. So I went to the bank Saturday morning, which was open, deposit the checks and everything. And then I had to wait till today to see if it cleared. And I'm sure it was going to clear and everything because the bank said it was cool and all that. But a little nerve wracking, you know what I mean? They got my car and I don't have the car. And this check took 3 days to clear. So cashier's check. And it's funny, so funny too, because I said, I told my wife, I go, hey, that guy's coming back. He said his dad wants to look at the car, and he says he has a cashier's check ready to go. And I was like, I'm not an expert on forged cash. I don't know what to look for. You know what I mean? So my whole point was, I'm not going to become an expert in the next few minutes. My wife's so funny. She's on her phone, doesn't say anything. And then she looks up and goes, okay, look for this, and this. I'm like, what are you looking at? She goes, I looked up how to spot a forged cashier's check. I go, you think it's that easy? Like, I don't know who these people are. First off, these people are nice people, it turned out, and everything's fine. But I don't know if it's like some crime syndicate, or not syndicate, but you know what I mean? I don't know if it's like a group of people who go around seeing people who are listing their used cars, and then they have a whole way to make super good-looking forged cashier's check. I don't know what's going on. It was just so cute. My wife was just like, I got it. I Googled it. It's taken care of. This is what you look for. So sold that car, and I loved that car, man. That was a big deal for me when I bought that car. So it's kind of sad that it's gone, but that guy really liked it and everything. And as long as everybody's having a good time and everyone's happy, that's all that matters. Let's see, I wrote down notes for things I wanted to talk about in this next episode, and it looks like Ashton Kutcher's face is one of the notes I wrote down. Oh yeah, I guess this guy was caught, the Hollywood Ripper, they called him, some guy who was killing people in Hollywood, and I guess years ago, he killed some woman, and that she was dating Ashton Kutcher at the time. So when I saw the story, I saw a picture of Ashton Kutcher, and I remembered that guy has a gorgeous face, okay? I worked with him a long time ago. He hired me to do these secret videos. It was just me, like I was the only person he hired. And it was at this, the whole idea behind it was you were supposed to make these videos that were supposed to go viral. That was the whole point. It was a product placement thing for Dell computers. And they were all supposed to look like their real videos. And then they were just going to put him out on the internet, and then Ashton and his team or whatever were going to, I don't even know what the plan was, but they were going to push him to go viral. And this is like right when was Twitter even around? I don't know. I don't know if he was even, no, he wasn't on Twitter yet. This is still MySpace days. So what happened was, I auditioned for something, and then him and his partner, Jason, were like, this is 13 years ago, by the way. They were like, I was in Miami, like working, and I got a call from the casting director or something. She's like, hey, they want you for this other thing, right? And they can't really talk about what it is, but make a video of you to your, imaginary whatever, fake, your girlfriend that's the character, and she's serving in Iraq, and you're making videos to her. Make one where you're and I was improvising all of it. They're like, make one where you're, just waking up. Make one where you're like romantic or whatever, and all that's lovey-dovey. Make one where you're drunk. Make one where you're high. Like they just kept. I would like send a couple, and then they would be like, okay, now make one like this. Now make one like that. And I was making these, by the way, years ago. I'm in Miami. I was with my ex-girlfriend at the time. She still lived there. And this is way before every phone had HD cameras and all that stuff. So she had one of those digital cameras where if you held down the button, I think, it would record for 30 seconds. So she just had to keep holding down the button, and we'd get 30 seconds at a time. I don't even know how we were emailing them. I don't know. I'm guessing we plugged her camera into the computer or something, like my old laptop, I guess, or something, and then emailed them that way. But just so funny how far technology's come, because now it's like, oh, what do you want? Okay, cool. I'll just like set my iPhone up. It'll be HD. I have apps where I can edit it, and I can do iMovie on my phone and add titles and whatever, all that. So this is just so, janky the way we like had to go about it. But so I did that, and then they hired me, and then the whole thing was at this house in Hollywood, and there was 4 different scenarios that they wanted to shoot that were kind of like they had planned out, and like crazy stuff was happening in these things. Like I'm making this video, and then somebody falls off the roof or whatever. It was all these things that were just meant to go viral, right? And I think that one of the funniest ones is I'm making this video, and I'm surprising her at her parents' house or something, and then they're like having sex in the kitchen. So anyways, this is the reason I remember this is before Twitter, is because Ashton Kutcher was one of the first guys. Oh my God, my phone almost threw that off the table. He was one of the first guys to get like a famous celebrity to like really start using Twitter, and like people were like, oh, Ashton Kutcher's on there, A+K and all that, right? So So I know Twitter wasn't around, because the whole point was to make these videos go viral, and he didn't put them on Twitter because it wasn't around yet. He came out like right after that, I think, or got popular right after that. And so he put one of the videos. I made the 4, and then Ashton was like, he directed them, and he was like, hey man, I gotta go. He's like, just make however many videos you want now. He's like, you got the whole crew, you got the house, you got the rest of the day. Just like, you're a funny guy. Just like make him come up with whatever you want. And one of the ones I made for him, he put on his MySpace. It's such a Jeff Keith thing to happen to me. Doesn't, like, obviously it was for the secret thing, so he couldn't be like, this is comedian Jeff Keith, who I think is really funny, which would have totally helped me out, right? Like, that would have been awesome. Instead, he just put like, things I like. He just posts this video of me, and it's just me. And I think at the time he was like hanging out with Puff Daddy, Diddy, I don't know what he called himself then, Sean Combs. And I did some video to a Puff Daddy song or something. I can't even remember exactly what I did, but I just remember thinking at the time, and still to this day, if he would have just said to his millions of followers, this is Jeff Keith, isn't he great? I love him. So anyway, the whole point was, I remember thinking, when I'd see him on TV and stuff, I was like, yeah, he's a good looking guy, but like, what's the big deal? Like, everyone acts like he's so good looking. When I met that guy in person, holy shitballs, man. That guy's face, gorgeous. Such good bone structure, unbelievable. Like, I was like a decent looking guy at the time, but it was like, blew me out of the water. Like, clearly way better looking. I've said this before, you meet people that are like movie stars, their faces are fucking unreal. Like, their skin, their facial symmetry, the bone structure and all that stuff. So I was a fan that day. I became a big fan of that dude's face. All right. Okay, next thing I wanted to talk about. Okay, so I don't like talking too much about serious news, on this podcast because everybody is nonstop talking about serious news, so that's not fun. But you sometimes hear about fracking, right? If you guys know what fracking is, it's a way to get oil out from under, like deep into the, underneath rocks or something. I don't even know how to explain it. But basically, it's new technology came out not too long ago, and now we're able to drill and get oil from places where we couldn't get it before, right? And you hear people and like the left and the right, and they're arguing, oh, this is good, this is bad, whatever. Here's my story about fracking. When I was touring and doing a bunch of colleges, I ended up in Williston, North Dakota, right? Williston, if you look it up, is like one of the major oil place because of fracking. So there's places basically that are booming now. They have like these fracking industries that never would before because they knew there was oil down there but you couldn't get to it. Now there's fracking, you can get to it, right? It was so weird, that town, because it's I'm not trying to shit on the town at all or the people there. Everyone was nice or whatever that I remember. But there was like nothing, a lot of stuff wasn't open. I remember I was at the front desk of my hotel and I flew into Williston, so I didn't get a rental car. Usually I would have a rental car, but I flew into Williston. So I just, was able to go straight to the hotels right there, small town. And I go to the front desk and I said, hey, is there anywhere to eat that's in walking distance? And this lady at the front desk goes, there's a restaurant right outside, like in the parking lot, or the gas station. And I remember thinking, when the gas station is one of your top choices of places to get lunch, not good, right? So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to that restaurant, obviously. I go out to the restaurant, it's locked, it's closed, there's no one in there. But it's the middle of the day on like a weekday. So I walk back and I go, hey, is that restaurant out of business? Like, what's going on? There's no one there and it's just locked up. And she goes, oh, well, now that like the oil jobs are in town, sometimes if anyone gets called to work on the rigs, it pays so much better that they'll just close down their business. I was like, whoa, interesting. So you just like have a business and then someone's like, hey, Jimmy, Mary, you guys want to work the rigs today? And you're like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna make way more money doing this oil stuff. So you just close down your restaurant, right? So that was interesting. And then, so it's kind of like, it was weird, like turns into kind of like a ghost town when people can have these jobs. The other thing that was weird is there were a bunch of people at the time, I don't know how it is now, this is years ago, there were a bunch of people living in tents, like, or something. It kind of became like a tent city type of place because there just wasn't a lot of lodging to go around because the price to like rent an apartment. I remember I was asking the girl, like the advisor or something I was going around with, and I asked her how it is, and she said, yeah, it's pretty interesting because she's from there, I think. And so if I remember this correctly, she's from there, and she goes, it's really interesting because like a 1-bedroom apartment is $3,000 a month. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Guys, this is the middle of nowhere, like North Dakota. There was nothing around there. It's not some big booming metropolitan thing like, New York, San Francisco, LA, like, apartment costs, housing costs is crazy, right? And it's ridiculous, but there's at least you're somewhere, you know what I mean, where there's a bunch of things going on. You're around nothing here. And she's like, yeah, it's like unaffordable. People can't afford it. So it's really interesting. And she also goes, I remember later we were at the bar, like just like a restaurant bar after the show. She goes, yeah, you could tell, oh, excuse me, I'm trying to get something out this week before I leave. She goes, you can tell who are the oil guys that are not from here and who are like local people. And I'm like, really? Because I'm just looking around at people. I don't fit in with all of them. I'm from Southern California. You know what I mean? I'm like, none of these people are me. Is my dog just going to be loud the entire podcast? So she's like, yeah, she's at the bar. She's like, those guys are oil guys for sure. Those people aren't, whatever, blah, 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 right? So I'm like, okay. And I go, well, is this good? Like, I was still kind of confused. I'm like, is it like the town happy about this? Like, this is a good thing that, the oil jobs are here and stuff. And she said, oh, now you can hear my dog trying to kill me. She goes, oh, well, it's good for like the economy and stuff, but it's also like rapes and stabbings have gone way up. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, like just brings in like a different type of, culture. And she's like, there's just been a lot more fights, stabbings, rapes. Like, can you imagine that? Like, that is such a weird thing. Like, you never really hear politicians talk about that. Like, yeah, we're getting all this oil, but now you can't even live in your hometown anymore because it costs too much. And also there's a shitload of rapes. Like, what? So anyways, I'm not trying to say like for or against fracking or anything. I don't know enough about it. And unlike, I guess, everybody on the planet now, I'm willing to say I don't know enough about something instead of just being like, here's what we should do. I got all the answers. But I thought that was very interesting that I was actually in that place, which sometimes is talked about because it's such a like hub for fracking. Man, I kind of want to just end this, and then so I could just do another pod. You know what I mean? So get another thing up for you guys. But yeah, you know what? I'm going to regroup here, get my dog in a position where he's not going to totally mess up everything. And make sure you guys rate 5 stars, subscribe. Please write a review. But the 5-star thing really helps out. Social media is at Jeff Keith, GeoffKeith. All right. I'll be back shortly.
Thank you for listening to my daddy.